Hey everyone, it's Alan over at Cobblers Plus, and thank you for joining us for our daily video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about another Saphir product, the Saphir Surfine Cream and the Pommadier Cream, and kind of comparing the two side by side. So come join us and check it out. So if you're familiar with Saphir, if you're an avid shoe enthusiast, or if you're new, Saphir is one of our favorite brands here at our shop at Cobblers Plus, and we definitely have to talk about the colored creams in particular. Colored creams obviously are something a little bit different than your waxes, and it's different than your regular conditioners. When you start introducing color pigments such as the Surfine cream here from the Beauty Cure line and the Pommadier cream from the Medal Dior line, or other brands as well, you're introducing color pigment. Now that doesn't mean it's going to change the color of your shoes, at least not drastically. So it's one of those that you're just helping restore the color a little bit more than a lot of those other waxes and other creams would do. When you start introducing the color, it's going to do a little bit of color restoration, or a fair amount, like the Saphir line in particular. Their pigment in particular, the color pigment, is a lot more concentrated than in a lot of other brands out there. Now that doesn't mean that it's going to again change the color of your shoes. If you use, say, a light brown on a black pair of floor shines like we're featuring here today, or if you end up using, let's say, this mahogany color on these purple Berlutis that we're also featuring today, it doesn't mean it's going to change the color, not at least drastically. Not the first round, maybe not even the second round. It might slightly change a slight shade, but it's not going to do a crazy amount like, say, dye would in particular. Dyes are going to be a lot stronger, whether it's a spray-on type or alcohol-based or oil-based or whatever it is, acrylic as well. Those are going to change the color drastically. Where cream polishes that are color coated, or come in a color in other words, they're going to be more of restoration. That's their job. With Saphir in particular, both these products here, obviously you can tell there's visible difference between the two, but they're very similar. They're a little bit different as far as, well, a whole lot different visibility wise. This is the Saphir Surfine, which is basically the colored cream line. This is from the Beauty Cure line in particular from Saphir. It's their blue label stuff, which is still great. It's far more superior than a number of other products out there on the market. The pigment again is stronger, but it's not going to be so strong and overpowering that it's going to end up drastically changing your shoe color. Maybe over a period of time, if you're constantly using that different shade or color, it's going to start showing the changes. Now the Surfine in particular, it's one of those that there's a larger quantity of colors. As you can tell, I've got a couple here in just the browns in particular. And these are a few of the medium to light browns. And it's just a few of them. There's 4 right here up on our shelf over here. We've got a handful of other browns. There are odd colors like blue and black and a lot of other ones as well. So, with the Surfine line, you're definitely going to have more options and variety. Where with the Pommadier from the Medal Dior MDO line, there's fewer colors. Listed on one of their catalogs or in a number of other places, it says that there are 12, but I think they're actually up to about 13 or 14. I believe this year they added 1 or 2 more colors. And so they may add more down the road, but they're concentrated this brand, well, not brand, but this line's color creams in particular to concentrate on the quality aspect of it, the ingredients and the concentrated pigments and everything. And so they just picked out what are the most popular colors, because Saphir's anticipation and understanding is that the color is never going to be perfect. You grab a pair of shoes, say like these purple Berlutis, you're going to get the purple one from here, or if you get the burgundy right here from the Pommadier line in particular, that purple's still going to be off, but it's going to work very well still regardless. It's going to blend in very nicely. It's going to restore the color nicely, and any particular color damage from scuffs, sometimes it could even help fill in cracks too. But That's kind of the anticipation with the Medallion line. Now, differences between these two, we'll start out by the key difference. Obviously, you can see the shape. One's square, one is round. And in that anticipation is because this one is a 50 ml jar right here. This one is 75. So this one's a little bit more product in a jar, basically. The product also, both of them have pine-based turpentine in there. Turpentine is going to help break down the original dye pigment within the shoes themselves, and it's also going to help soften up the waxes that are in each of these particular products, allowing you to be able to spread it evenly and apply it, and that's going to help significantly with being able to just get a nice, even, beautiful coat. Turpentine or some form of agent that's going to soften up these waxes is a must. So they use natural pine-based turpentine, which is great because both these products do not use any harmful ingredients such as, you know, silicones or any other things like that, like alcohol or acetone, which, yes, there are some creams out there that do have acetone in them too. So those are harsher chemicals, basically. They're not great for leather in general. Any form of solvent is technically not great for your shoes if you're going to be introducing a lot into the leather without using some form of conditioning agent, but they use a natural ingredient that tends to be a little bit safer. But we also have to think about the conditioning aspect of these. Both of these also have a conditioning aspect to them. This one uses almond oil to help condition, which is beautiful, phenomenal ingredient, where this one uses shea butter, whatever it's called, shea butter, I believe it is. So that particular oil is used in cosmetology, actually. So they use it on skincare products all the time. It's used in a number of makeups too. My sisters, my wife, everyone has told me about it. They're like, oh yeah, I know that stuff. It's in my makeup. So that just comes to show that they're using prime ingredients in their product. Almond oil is considered also a very prime ingredient as well. So that's where you get your conditioning from. Now, when we start talking about the waxes that I mentioned as well, the turpentine that's in there is going to help soften up the waxes. This one has a number of waxes, including beeswax and a few other ones, not as concentrated. Beeswax is the primary one that's in here, where this one has 7 different waxes in it, including carnauba wax, it's got your beeswax, and a few other waxes and wax minerals as well. So it's going to bring out a shine, give it a nice waterproofing feature to it, and it allows you to really kind of spread things out very nicely. And then once the turpentine evaporates, you're going to be able to buff those shoes up very nicely without actually needing to use a wax in particular. Both of these are significantly better products out there than some of the things that a number of people have been using for years. I used to use Miltonian for many years. I grew up with the stuff. I did a previous video saying it's gone. When I started using this stuff, it's phenomenal, amazing. I did not realize that, hey, just because there's a bit of a premium cost on it, that you're going to see a huge difference. With Saphir's products, and this is across the board on all their product, less is more. So this jar will outlast Miltonian or other products out there that have been around for years that are no longer even around or still around. This jar in the same quantity will outlast basically any of those other products on the market, you know, a handful of times over, basically, just because less is more. You just need a little bit. You don't need a whole lot. Just spread it out nice and evenly. Now, obviously, you know, this product is something that is kind of an add-on. You know, we mentioned, we talked about the Saphir Renovator, we talked about conditioners, waxes as well. Because there are so many color options of shoes out there, it's not necessary to always go for the color creams. You're definitely going to have a little additional benefits to it because there's more waxes in both of these compared to a number of other products out there. More color pigment is going to help restore the color and enrich it a little bit. And also the wax is going to help not only bring out the shine, but give it some waterproofing features too on your smooth leathers. And so, you know, if you're kind of new to footwear in general, try to kind of take it easy, in other words, on trying to get a bunch of colors matching every pair of shoes. Obviously, you can do that if you like. That's your choice. By all means, go ahead and do that. But your base key products you definitely want to start out is with a conditioner and maybe some form of wax to touch up the shine. Now when you have some significant damage, you could take it to a professional like a cobbler or a shoe shiner or somebody who's a friend who's an avid shoe enthusiast and has basically a whole lineup of shoe care products. But when you start using these, it's kind of one of those that you wanna kind of get used to carrying basic for your shoes, in other words. And you can check out our previous videos as well, where we talk about basic care and maintenance on your shoes. This is kind of that next step up of trying to restore the color, because you want to try to get as close as possible to original. Obviously you will never be able to find the exact same shade, but you still want to try to get as close as possible if you're trying to restore it. If you try to do something along the lines of changing the color, I highly advise first talk to your local cobbler, shoe shiner, or even message us or talk to anybody that's more experienced about changing or doing a custom patina job on a pair of shoes before you jump into it. Because again, this does have turpentine. If you start rubbing an area, that turpentine is going to start acting as a cleaning agent, and it will start actually removing some of the original dye pigment out of your beautiful shoes. If you want to experiment for yourself and you just want to try it out and jump into it, by all means you could do it, but I highly recommend starting out with something a little bit on the lower cost spectrum. Not a pair of Florsheim Imperials in particular. These are, by the way, Florsheim Imperials, not standard ones. So these are highly prized, and not a pair of Berlutis also. Start out something very light, thrift store purchase, eBay purchase, wherever you got them. Maybe somebody gave them to you and they might not even be your size or something. Experiment with that first beforehand. But definitely a well-worthy investment as you start evolving your knowledge about taking care of shoes. You're a little more experienced. Get a couple of standard colors. Start out with light brown, medium brown. Dark browns are not too common, I've noticed. Not a lot of people mess with that. Light brown might be a little iffy. Just find your comfort zone. Maybe it might be easier for you to take care of your dark browns, but start out with maybe 3 colors. Black is almost a must, and maybe 2 different browns or whatever type of color that you tend to have more of. 3 to start, you're phenomenal. Or even just 1 if you just need to touch up your black shoes frequently. But black obviously is like a must. Everyone's got at least 1 pair of black shoes. I've only probably met 2 people that said, oh wait, I don't actually have a pair of black shoes, which is kind of interesting to hear. But still, anyways, back to the subject. Hopefully this answers some questions. Obviously you can see I got little stacks here. There are more of the Saphir products behind me. I've got a lot more over here as well from the Beauty to Cure line. These are only a small handful of the color options and particular products that they have. The Pommadier cream, although they are the same thing, they do have different names. Keep that in mind. This is the Surfine cream from the Beauty to Cure line. This is the Pommadier cream from the Medal Dior line. But they technically are like siblings or cousins, in other words, in the Saphir line. In other words, they both are after doing the same exact process for caring for your footwear. So keep that in mind on those. Surfine cream, you can easily spot that. The Medal Dior Pommadier cream is a little bit more difficult because Saphir is kind of known for making similar things. These products may look very similar right here, but they're actually very different. This is your Pommadier cream. This is for your smooth leathers. This is the oiled leather from Saphir. The way you tell is read the lid up top. The Pommadier cream will not say Pommadier cream. It says cream 1925 on there. So definitely keep your eye out for that if you're shopping around, if you're at your local cobbler shop or wherever you get your Saphir from. Keep an eye out for that so you don't accidentally grab the wrong thing. If you're trying to take care of and maintain your full grain leather, something that's smooth like these ones that we have here, that is a smooth grain finish. It's just smooth, in other words, just your basic standard leather. It could be box leather, it could be your full grain, corrected grain. It's smooth, all right? You'll be perfectly fine. If you start getting into the oiled leathers, if you're getting into certain suedes and stuff like that, that's a whole nother category. Do not put these on anything else. I don't even recommend them on shell cordovan because of that turpentine. Obviously, maybe sometimes you might need a touch-up color, but there are other options for shell cordovan in particular. This is a warning. Please try to avoid using these products right here on your shell cordovans. I know a number of you gentlemen out there who own a few pairs of shell. Try using this same product. Shell cordovan is a membrane. It is not leather. It's very different. So please do not use these products on that. Stay tuned for another video that I'll be talking about the proper products on what to use for your shell cordovans. Otherwise, in the meantime, if you really need an answer quickly, just send me a message. I'll be happy to answer it. But otherwise, if you can be a little bit patient, I'll get around to doing a video talking about shell cordovan in particular. But for the time being, this is for your full grain leathers, box leathers, corrected grain leathers, and just about every other type of smooth grain calf leather, or calf type leather. In other words, I don't know if I should even call corrected grain actual calf leather anymore at that point, but you get the idea. Again, ask your local cobbler, shoe shiner, or any other professional that you know, or avid enthusiast who knows what they're doing. They'll be happy to help. We'll be happy to help, and we're here for you. Any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll be happy to answer them and try to get to them as well. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell icon to be notified when we have our daily videos to talk about different products. I'll be answering some questions on our weekly update of what's going on in our shop. That's usually on Fridays. And if I see any kind of questions in particular that I was not able to get to in the comments section, I'll be getting to them in the video. So don't get upset if I didn't respond to your comment. I do apologize. It is starting to get a little hectic for me to respond to some of those, but that just means there's a good chance that I may end up mentioning it in one of my weekly videos of the update in the shop. So thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.